Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Wednesday, the 20th day of May. It's National Be a Millionaire Day.
Oh, I like that day. Let's celebrate that.
Yeah. You know, I got a thing, I don't remember when this was, a long time ago. It showed like how much I had paid in taxes over the years, and it showed how much I had made. And this is like 20 years ago. And I had made, at that point, over $1 million. And I was so excited. Then I got to think, it took me like 20 years to do it. Like, oh, wow, that's not nearly as impressive as people make that in a day. It's also National Pick. Oh, by the way, I didn't save any of it, just for those of you wondering.
No.
National Pick Strawberries Day. Ooh, yummy. National Rescue Dog Day. National Quiche Lorraine Day.
I love quiche.
It's also National Juice Slush Day. And it's Emergency Medical Services for Children Day. So a lot of stuff going on today. Going to rewind to the strawberries. Heidi, beautiful lady over here, made a pie the other night that had strawberries in it. Strawberry rhubarb pie. Oh, that was so good.
Yummy.
It was so good. I've got a guest coming up to talk about his new book, David Yuzak, and he's got a book called The Giant Killer. It's about the smallest man ever to serve in the U.S. military. We're going to chat all about that. Really interesting, very interesting true story coming up. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. A Comcast survey found that far more Americans are watching the news during this coronavirus outbreak than ever before. And part of it is they've got a lot more time on their hands, but the other part of it is people want to be informed on what's going on.
Right.
Here's the thing that's interesting. Heidi, my wife, and I were recently interviewed by NPR, like the radio people that talk really monotone like this. The guy that we talk to doesn't typically talk like that. But it was really funny because during the interview, they were asking, because we're such happy people, they were saying, what do you guys do to stay so happy and motivated? And I said, well, maybe this is the wrong place to say it, but
Turn off the news.
Quit listening to the news. And I can't believe they didn't edit that out. It was actually on NPR that way. So anyway, if you want to be happier, keep listening right here. Maybe don't listen to the news so much.
Right.
And if you do listen to news, again, nothing wrong with the news, but I'm just saying, don't listen.
In moderation.
Yeah, because there are some people who are
dwell
glued,
on
like this survey, watching way more news than normal. And then you wonder why, I'm freaking out about things. Well, just calm down. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
This is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. One dangerously bad decision after another. That's what a 23-year-old Florida man is accused of making when he was arrested, charged with driving under the influence twice in a single week. Henry Davis was busted by highway patrol officers when they saw him get out of his car and start fighting with another driver. They broke up the fight, noticed, hey, this dude is really drunk. Breathalyzer revealed his blood alcohol level over twice the legal limit. He was taken to jail and they let him out because they said, okay, he posted bail. Well, then 6 days later, he was arrested. Guess what for? Drunk driving.
Oh, my gosh.
This time they put him in handcuffs, and they said that there was a reckless driver. He nearly hit a car. Got, again, out of jail on $500 bond. So hopefully he stays clean and doesn't get a third one. That would be really bad. But 23 years old, 2 DUIs in the same week.
Yikes.
Dude, just take stock of what you're doing, man. It's a bad idea. Thanks for listening. That is what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Ink Master star Daniel Silva was charged with murder after allegedly being drunk when he crashed his McLaren sports car in L.A., killed YouTube comedian Corey LeBrere. And it's really sad. The whole situation is really, really sad. What does that remind you of? Does it instantly make you think of something?
No.
Motley Crue?
Oh.
Because that was a thing. Vince Neil was in jail for a while because he was drinking and driving and killed a friend. So don't drink and drive. It's never,
It's
ever
never
a good
okay.
idea. Shark Tank host Mark Cuban, he's also a billionaire and also owns like a sports team. He sent a team of secret shoppers into the reopened restaurants in the city that he lives in.
I saw this.
And found 96% of them were not doing what they were supposed to do with the guideline stuff. So people online are saying he's the host of Narc Tank. I thought that was really funny.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that is very funny. I never would have thought of that.
That is hilarious.
So,
and how many of his secret shoppers got ill, I wonder?
I have no idea.
Probably none.
Well, I have no clue. I didn't follow any of that. I'm just reading the story for the first time right here. And you can find it. I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now your scoop of the day, it comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Tiger King Joe Exotic had a streetwear line that sold out within hours of its online debut, racked up over $20,000 in sales, and they ran out of stuff. So here's the thing, guys. Make more stuff. If people like it, if you're selling...
People are only buying it probably for gag gifts for Christmas.
The way he was dressed in that show, if that's what this streetwear line looks like, who wants to dress... Again, if that's your style, go for it, man. I could never pull that look off. I just couldn't.
Thank goodness.
No, I couldn't. Bryan Adams, 80s and 90s rocker. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I do, yeah.
Summer
I
of
love him,
69.
actually.
We saw him in concert, didn't we?
We
It
have,
was an acoustic show.
An acoustic set.
It was a really
amazing.
good show. Well, he went on an expletive-filled rant against China's wet markets in an Instagram post because he had to cancel his residency at London's Royal Albert Hall, and he was none too thrilled about it.
I personally don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, so he was Bryan Adams, not happy about everything going on there. Meghan Markle, speaking of London and England, we're going to head. I
And
guess
not
they're not
happy.
Well, I wasn't going there. But Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have moved into an $18 million California mansion owned by Tyler Perry.
And they can't figure out how to pay their own security?
Well, I don't know if they bought the home. It's owned by Tyler Perry. So does Tyler Perry still own it?
Maybe he's renting it.
I don't know. This sounds like the start of a really good Medea movie to me. So I'm just saying. Or online, somebody said the former Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because he used to be a prince that Megan's hubby.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Yeah.
See, they're coming up with all kinds of fun stuff on the old interwebs. Hey, Staten Island man, sad story here. He drove his BMW into an 84-year-old woman's home on Mother's Day.
Oh.
And it says, oddly enough, there was no booze involved. So I don't know how you drive your car into a home. But whatever happened there, I hope everybody's okay. But what a really bad way to celebrate Mother's Day.
There was probably booze involved afterwards.
Well, it says there were no booze involved. Portland has canceled their World Naked bike ride because of coronavirus. So they usually do that World Naked bike ride.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Well, and again, some of the online comments are just hilarious about these things because somebody said, well, you know, due to the coronavirus, it's not a good idea for the World Naked Bike Ride anyway. We all need to flatten our curves before next year. I see what you did there. And U.S. border agents are apprehending a growing number of Mexican immigrants coming across the border, but not the one you're thinking of. They're coming across the Canadian border. So I don't know how that works. I've got a link to it in the show notes if you want to read all about it. You can find that at johnandheidishow.com.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Very excited to visit with David Yuzak. We're going to talk about two things. He's got a book, and he's also got a really cool documentary, both about the same subject. It's called The Giant Killer. Mr. Yuzak, how are you, sir?
Doing great. And yourself?
I am fantastic. So first of all, thank you for your service. I see that you were a police officer for 19 years. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct, in Miami.
That is fantastic. And then along the way, you met somebody that was pretty darn interesting, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I became friends with a tiny homeless man, and he took me on a pretty incredible journey.
And he's 4'9" or 4'10", so less than 5 feet tall. Just a little fella. And he was the smallest man to be admitted into the U.S. military. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been doing research on Richard Flaherty for 5 years now, and every expert I've spoken to claims he is the smallest man to ever serve in the U.S. military.
And he was less than 100 pounds. And even though he's a little guy, boy, he sure left a big impact in the world, didn't he?
He sure did, yeah. And I'm still chasing down all the things he did. It's an amazing puzzle that I don't know if it'll ever be solved.
And I think if somebody were to sit down at a typewriter and say, I'm going to make up a story, and they made up this story, nobody would believe it, would they?
No, if I wrote it as a script and tried to sell it in Hollywood, no, they wouldn't believe it. You know, somebody told me once, I didn't see the movie Captain America, that they made this movie about this tiny guy that they had to give him all these special powers.
Yeah.
Well, Richard didn't need any special powers. He did it at his size.
Well, and the funny thing is, I'm glad you said that, because that was the first thing I thought of, too, when I was watching the documentary. I was like, this kind of reminds me of, this fake part of this movie, of course, that was just made up. But this is for real.
Yeah, very hard to believe. You say his height. His actual last medical records reveals he was only 4'7". So I know he told everyone 4'9". Could he have shrunk an inch and let's give him 4'8"? But he was a tiny guy.
So now, in addition to being a little guy, when you met him, he was homeless as well. And then how did you find out about all of these amazing things that he had a chance to be a part of?
So we actually were friends for about 15 years before he, one day, out of the blue, just confessed his life story. We met because I would see him on the streets all the time and try to get him off the streets, which is part of my job as a police officer, to help homeless people. But he was pretty sharp, and he said thank you, but no thank you. So I couldn't get him off the streets. And then we would just start having coffee and sandwiches every once in a while. Would meet up, and Guy had an incredible knowledge of the world and politics. So it was always a pleasure to sit and talk with him. And then one day, having lunch in the summer of 2015, he dropped the bomb on me.
And it wasn't much longer after that he wasn't in this world anymore.
Yeah, so he told me that he was the smallest man ever served, went to Vietnam as a Green Beret, won the Silver Star, 2 Bronze Stars, and a Purple Heart. He told me a little bit about some undercover work he did in the 80s, and he kind of warned me, said, hey, if you want to look up any of the information, I'm sure you don't believe me, just don't look into that case. So it's odd, but I tracked down the agent that he claimed he worked undercover with. It took me about a week. Called the guy on Friday, May 8th, in the afternoon, and then after I spoke to him, he said, everything the guy told you, Richard told you, is the truth. Maybe 8 hours later, Richard was killed.
Wow, that is just crazy. Now, we don't have time in this interview to get into everything, but boy, it is a fascinating story. If people would like to read the story in the book, or if they'd like to watch the story in the movie, how do they find all of your information, sir?
So the book and movie are both on Amazon, same name, The Giant Killer. The book is also on Walmart and Barnes & Noble. So they can just look it up as The Giant Killer, or you can go to www.smallestsoldier.com. We're also on Facebook.
I'm going to throw a link to make it really, really easy to find. Thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me, but also thank you for documenting all of this stuff because it is so fascinating, and I'm glad that it's not just lost to history.
Yeah, I feel like his story is too important to leave on the side of the road, with him. So I'm hoping our next generation can kind of learn from, hopefully none of our next heroes end up on the streets.
Absolutely. It is a sad, sad thing. I've got a link to all of the information. Smallestsoldier.com is the website. But if you don't remember that, just remember to look in the show notes for today at JohnandHeidiShow.com. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at MarketBeatMinute.com. That's MarketBeatMinute.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Actor Bill Murray uses a toll-free number instead of an agent or a manager, according to this. It says he's famous for starring in movies like Ghostbusters and Groundhog Day and a bunch of other stuff. But anyone in Hollywood who's interested in working with him first must figure out how to navigate a strange situation that he has just to get his attention, because he uses this toll-free number instead of an agent or a manager. You call this number. It says filmmaker Theodore Melfi, who directed Murray in St. Vincent in 2014, told USA Today, you have to record a message and then send the message. And he said, I started calling once a week. He never got back to me. I finally talked to his lawyer, and I said, I'm trying to reach Bill. And he said, what number do you have? And I gave him this toll-free number. He goes, yeah, that's the one I got, too. Just leave messages. He'll get back to you eventually. So...
Oh, funny.
That is hilarious. So other people have agents out looking for work for them, and he's just got a number, like, leave a message. If I'm interested, maybe I'll call you back.
Why couldn't everybody just do that?
They could.
If you get that famous, you don't need an agent anymore, right?
Exactly. You certainly could if you're that famous. But then there's, other people that are not so famous that are going, hey, would you put me in a movie? That's a whole different story. Thanks for listening to today's Fun Fact.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a news headline from somewhere in this world. Dateline, India. Authorities are looking for, probably not real hard, but they're looking for a person who likes to break into homes to make your bed.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, police say at least 7 homes now have been entered. In each case, the person has made the bed perfectly. One home said they even washed our sheets before making the bed.
Whoa.
So I don't know what's going on there.
That's a little creepy.
But you know what's kind of funny, though? Here we are talking about on the other side of the planet because it is just so random. They're going in their house, making their bed, and leaving. Not stealing anything, just making the bed.
But to wash sheets, you're there all day. I mean, this is not a
I don't know
4-minute ordeal.
Well, they might have washed the sheets and then came back later and made the bed. I don't know. Who knows? It's bizarre that it's happening, but... like I said, here we are talking about on the other side of the planet. This is a news headline from somewhere in this world.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. A 40-year-old Ohio man stripped naked in the middle of traffic and then claimed to be Jesus.
Oh.
Okay. Self-proclaimed naked holy man was reportedly showing off what God gave him right in the middle of the road. It says here, deputies arrived on the scene. They found a naked, sweaty man running around.
Ew.
Actually, they said he was sweating profusely. He would only identify himself as Jesus Christ when the deputies attempted to question him. Then, air quotes here, Jesus lunged at the law enforcement officers. One of them had minor injuries, and the suspect was transported to the hospital. Suspect did not show up for his recent court appearance, but now has a warrant out for his arrest. He's charged with resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and public indecency. Does not say he was under the influence of anything, so probably a mental health issue of some sort.
Something.
I feel really bad for the dude. I remember we shared a story one time, and we used to post these stories on our Facebook page, and now it's in our show notes, but not on Facebook. And I had the family of the person reach out to me talking about all of the issues that were going on, and that's why I quit sharing those stories on Facebook, because I was like, wow, that's bad. And I want you to know, I'm not laughing at this guy. I just share these stories, and I feel bad. So many times I feel so bad for the people involved. I have no idea what's going on here, but wow, it's definitely today's.
Well, while Jesus was there, he could have at least done something about the traffic.
Yeah, I don't think it was Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah. But it is today's weird news.
John and Heidi.
Time now for your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. According to an arrest affidavit, 2 Florida teenagers busted for running around Walmart coughing on people and spraying people with Febreze told police, "We were just trying to make funny videos for YouTube."
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. The 2 suspects who had driven away from the business in a pickup truck were later identified as Amos Troublefield and Antonio Green, both 18, captured on surveillance, recording themselves coughing while spraying Febreze from under their armpits onto customers. So they were like coughing into their armpits, but then they were spraying Febreze.
That's hilarious, guys.
You guys
so funny.
probably going to get your own TV show. Or not. Police asked the teens, why would you do such a thing? They were advised they were just trying to make funny videos for YouTube. Mm-hmm. They were instead arrested for disorderly conduct and shoplifting, both misdemeanors.
Oh, shoplifting.
They stole the Febreze. So, because they were trying to make funny videos.
Uh-huh.
Heidi, it all makes sense if you just think about it. Okay, no, it doesn't.
No,
it does not
I
at all.
would rather not think about it.
It
makes my head hurt.
Yeah, it is today's moment of duh.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for fake news or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it hashtag fake news?
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Where do we go here? Oh, yeah, this story right here. Fake news or Florida? I forgot how this game worked.
Okay.
A Miami man has filed for an annulment from the car he married in 2019. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say fake news.
It is fake news. Yeah, that's good.
Thank goodness.
Although we did have a story about a lady who married a Ferris wheel and somebody else who married a tree. But I don't know about any dude marrying a car and then asking for an annulment. But it's possible, I guess, but not this time. It is fake news. Thanks for listening to Fake News or Florida on The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news. And I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of hashtag gift card challenge, which is good news on its own. Such a cool thing. Huge thank you to everybody that's participated in that. If you have not yet and you're considering doing it, do it soon, because I don't know how much longer that's going to be going on, but it's going on now. All the details at giftcardchallenge.org. Here's our good news story for today. 96-year-old woman brought to tears, Heidi, to tears. She speaks Welsh for the first time in 40 years. So let me explain what's going on here.
Why is she crying?
Well, you'll see why. An elderly Welsh woman who lives in the U.S. has spoken Welsh for the first time in 40 years after a social media appeal. Ray McDermott has lived in the U.S. for 70 years and was worried she would never speak Welsh again. Mother of two has not spoken Welsh since her mother died nearly 4 decades ago. And recently, she told her son Keith, I don't think I'll ever have a chance to speak Welsh again. Keith, who is 70, lives in New York City. She said she was desperate. He was desperate to help his mother. So, I'm sorry, Keith is the son.
Sweet.
Speaker native
So
tongue.
the son is 70?
So Keith, is 70.
Holy cow.
And he put a request on Facebook. Within 30 minutes, he was inundated, by the way. He said she was shocked. BBC reached out as one of them. He said each comment was from different people, everybody in all parts of Wales and from all over the world. But Melissa Annis, a director and playwright originally from Wales, now also living in New York, gave Ray a call. Ray said it was lovely to speak to somebody who had visited the same places that she had as a child, and she had a chance to speak Welsh once again to somebody who was also speaking Welsh. She said, I didn't think I would get a chance to speak Welsh again. It actually brought tears to my eyes, and I don't cry very often. It was very lovely. It really was. So I think that's a cool story. She's 96. Cool. So her son is 70, but she is 96 years young. That is today's good news. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show.